particular place I need to be. Okay, thank you.
Tim. Where was that statue made? What state? Huh? Utah. Utah? Why didn't they build it here? Did you find out the amount for that church then? You forgot? You think you could talk that? How much? The what? Oh, they haven't done an agreement yet? I thought it all passed. You know what its asking price is? That's what,
Because they got their whole thing. We were one small part.
so you don't know yet then?
No,
You don't know what the asking price is then?
it's real estate stuff.
Huh?
It's also real estate stuff.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. We'll call this meeting to order. This is our last meeting of 2024, and we have with us Pastor Kim Gramling with Life Church Assembly of God, 4100 King Springs Road. Pastor, please come up and lead us in the invocation and pledge. Everybody, please rise.
Dear Lord, we thank you for this great city of Smyrna that you have established. We acknowledge your providence and we ask for your guidance. Thank you for those who serve this city, our mayor, mayor pro tem, city council members, and other staff who work to make Smyrna the best it can possibly be for those who live and work here. I thank you for the citizens who are here to support and contribute to these proceedings. I pray that your peace will be present as they work through every detail of the agenda before them tonight. I ask you to give wisdom for making wise decisions that will be beneficial for the health, vitality, and progress for all of us. I pray for divine strategies and creative insights and for the provision to execute those strategies in a timely and efficient manner. I ask you to give them wisdom in how to work in unity so that they can fulfill the vision that will positively affect lives for the better. I pray for relationships to continue to grow and develop between government entities, businesses, churches, schools, and other organizations that help sustain us during the challenging times and bring hope for the future. I pray most of all that we would trust in you and not lean on our own understanding, that in the business we attend to and in life in general, we would acknowledge you, knowing that you will give us direction and discernment for every decision. It is in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. Appreciate you being here with us this evening. We don't have any agenda changes tonight. I'll note that Councilmember Lindley has joined us remotely this evening. We don't have, let's see, no agenda changes. The mayoral report, I just want to talk about the coming home for the holidays, the tree lighting. I don't know how many of you all were there on that cold Tuesday, but I think that is one of the best events that we do every year. And if you've seen some of the pictures from the drones on social media or on the website, it was, I don't know, 1,000 people down there. It was unbelievable. All the children singing on the City Hall steps. We had a Christmas market over in the green space, and I think everybody is in agreement that the lights probably look as good as they ever have downtown. So appreciate all of the staff that put that together and all of y'all for coming out to celebrate with us on Tuesday. I don't have any proclamations or presentations tonight. I think that might be the first time all year that we don't have any proclamations. Is that right? Yeah. So we'll move on to our formal agenda. This agenda tonight is typical of a last meeting of the year. We have a lot of things that we have to, reappointments and contractual things that 911 and some other things that we just have to go through. So bear with us as we get through this lengthy agenda. The first item is community development. Item A, Z24-014. This is a public hearing, zoning request Z24-014. Allow rezoning from GC to R15 for the development of one single-family home, 0.465 acres, land lot 546, 4820 Camp Highland Road, Shamara, Goba. This is in Ward 7. Turn it over to you, Joey.
Good evening, Joey Stobbs, Planner 2 with Community Development. This is rezoning case Z24-014. It was heard by the Planning Board on November 12th. They recommended approval, 7-0. The property is 4820 Camp Highland Road. It's a little bit under half an acre. There used to be a house on the property. It was demolished. This applicant would like to rebuild on the property. They're not subdividing, they're not anything, they're building one house where one house used to be. It requires a rezoning from general commercial to R15. It's around other properties with industrial land use and low-density residential land use. This is the site plan. I'm going to briefly go over this because it's just one house. It'll have the R15 setbacks. It meets all of those. All the rest you see there is drainage field because it's on septic. There's no variances required for this rezoning. Some pictures of the property as it is today and some adjacent properties. And staff is recommending approval from a GC to R15. Happy to answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions?
No questions.
Mr. Oglesby.
Yeah, I think I'll speak for everyone in the area, including myself. We're excited that it has been rezoned from commercial to residential. Looking forward to the finished product.
Absolutely.
Any other questions, comments?
And the applicant's here too.
I'd like to invite the applicant up. Welcome.
Hi, good evening.
State your name and address for the record.
Shamara Goba, 1711 Tyler Green Trail, Southeast.
Our city attorney looks like he might want to swear you in.
Yes.
Anything you want to say about what you're doing?
Nothing more additional than what was stated. It's looking to get it rezoned to be able to build a family home on it.
Awesome.
There are other homes in the area and on that street as well. And I think the land is situated between two homes currently. So just want to be able to build a family home on it.
I get it. I'd want to be in Smyrna too. Yeah. Anybody have any questions of the applicant?
No, no questions. Just welcome to the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. This is a public hearing. If there's anybody who wishes to speak for or against this, would come up and be sworn in by our city attorney now. And seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and we'll turn it over to Mr. Oglesby.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve Z24-014 as written.
Second.
Second by Ms. Hines. All those in favor, please vote. And Councilman Lindley, how do you vote? Is Travis able to hear us and respond? Mr. Lindley, can you hear us and how do you vote?
Good evening. I vote yes.
Thank you. He's what? All right, so that's approved 7-0. Welcome. Very good. We'll move on to item B. And this is where we say, you guys can stay, but you don't have to. Item B, public hearing zoning request Z24-015, allow rezoning from R15 to RDA conditional for the development of 8 single-family homes at a density of 5 units per acre, 1.59 acres, land lot 528, 3767, and 3777 King Springs Road, Davin Harris. We'll turn it over to you, Joey.
Yes, sir. This is rezoning case C24-015. The planning board heard this on November 12th. They recommended approval, 7-0. The property is comprised of 3767 and 3777 King Springs Road. It's a little over half an acre and a half. There are 2 single-family homes on the property now. The applicant is requesting to rezone this from R15 to RDA for 8 single-family detached houses. The future land use is currently low-density residential. This would require future land use change to medium-density residential. It is around an area that has neighborhood activity center land use on the west side of King Springs Road, medium high-density residential on the other side of it, and then some high-density residential further below on Wexford Hills. So it would be a meaningful, it would make sense to change this to medium density to be between these variety of land uses. This is the proposed site plan. They'll have the RDA setbacks up front 20, 5 feet side setbacks, and rear setback of 20. Lots 1 through 5 will face King Springs Road. They'll have rear entry garages from a new public road that'll be added. Lots 6, 7, and 8 will face the new public road. There would be a landscape buffer around the perimeter of the property. a common area with the kiosk between lots 6 and 7, and the stormwater detention pond, which will be at the corner of the development. Like I said, there will be a new 50-foot right-of-way added to serve this development. And there are 4 variances requested: to reduce the minimum lot area from 7,260 to 4,436 square feet, to reduce the front setback from 25 to 20, reduction of the rear setback from 30 feet to 20, and allow an increase in impervious coverage from 45% to 55%. These are some examples of the homes they're proposing to build, and the subject property as it is today, and some adjacent properties. Staff is recommending approval of the rezoning from R15 to RDA for 8 single-family detached homes at a density of 5 units per acre, with the standard conditions, special conditions regarding the setbacks, the minimum lot size, the minimum lot width of 50 feet, minimum 22-foot driveway length. They'll dedicate 5 feet along King Springs Road and install a 5-foot sidewalk. Lots 1 through 5 will face King Springs Road. No fencing above 4 feet in the front yard, and it'll be tied to this site plan that was submitted with the application. They'll be bound to the elevation submitted with the application. And that's it. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Joey? Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Oh, Susan.
Yeah. I'm just curious about the parking, like guest parking. If there's room in the private drive in the back, or is parking allowed on King Springs Road there in the front?
I don't believe there's no parking sign. There aren't any no parking signs there.
I just wondered about that type of road, but if it was allowed on King Springs, but I don't know. Okay,
I don't think there are any no parking.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you. I'd like to invite the applicant up. Mr. Cochran will swear you in, and if you'll state your name and address for the record, please.
I'm Davin Harris. I'm 1234 Kingsview Drive in Smyrna, so I'm actually right around the corner from the site.
Do you all solemnly swear the testimony you give in this matter share the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Well, we're pretty excited about this. We've been working on this for a while. So again, I say that I'm right around the corner. I say that to say that we will be hands-on with this project. I've had a chance to try to go around and talk to most of the neighbors to get signatures, tell them what we're doing, explain what was going on, and it seems like we've got a really, really good response. Had a chance to talk to the Mills, who are actually at 3797, who's directly involved right next to them, and they're super excited about what we're doing. They're like happy because it's been kind of an eyesore for a while sitting there. So we've got Sean Murphy, who's site planning here. We've got Paul Henderson, who's our construction management, and we've got Daryl Johnson, who's civil engineer. So we're here to answer any questions that anyone may have and get this thing going.
Very good. Any questions of the applicant? Mr. Gould.
So, Davin, I really appreciate a couple of things. One, I'm not sure if it's no, but you're a Smyrna resident, is that
Yes.
right? Yep.
Yes.
Live right around the corner?
Right around the corner, walking
So-
distance.
Walking distance. And then Sean, of course, is a Smyrna resident, lives in Forest Hills, right? So it's really nice to fortunately have you all doing this, but you care about the neighborhood, right?
Yes.
Bringing some nice development, in my opinion. And I do appreciate you knocking on doors. It was pretty impressive, the list of signatures that you
Thank you.
gathered.
Yeah. I know I've done this is my 24th year in real estate sales and building, and I think Paul's have been doing this for before I was born. So again, we know that it's important that we get the people involved, answer any questions, because again, we don't want to be loud. We want to make sure that it's a good working environment and get the buy-in. So I think it's going to be good for everything.
Right.
We
So-
appreciate you doing things the right way. That's it.
If I can add to that, I just want to say that you guys know I've been in front of you many times, and this has been one of the best experiences I've had in front of you all and working with the city. Davin approached me. He got word that he needed some help, and he got word that I could be somebody that would be able to help him. And when I first got involved, they were looking, I think most of you know, but they were looking at taking 2 lots and turning it into 3. And when they spoke to the city engineer, it was clear that they were going to have to put in a sewer, which was going to have to run along the back of those 2 lots. They were also going to require that we tie into the daycare facility, which operates just above the site. And when I got out there, and I had them get out there and clear all the ivy so we could even walk around, but once we got out there, I looked, you got some huge trees here that are going to have to come down, and we're going to have to tear up the road to do all this just to build 3 lots. And once we ran the numbers to tear up all the road, to put in the sewer, to cut down all those trees, it didn't make any sense. And I said, he was telling me he was going to walk away from the whole thing. And I said, well, hold on. I just seen this really cool project over on Church Street called 11 on Church. Let's go take a look at that. And he loved it. I loved it. And I sat down, I asked Rusty to have a meeting with me, and I said, could you guys think you could get behind something like this? And they said that had come off without a hitch, and it had gone very well. And it's gone really well since then. I met with Rusty twice. I met with Tim. We met with Tim together. He's walked the entire neighborhood. I talked to my neighbors. I got word that my neighbor, Forest Hills, wasn't taking a position on it. So I think we've done everything we possibly can do, and I appreciate everybody's help.
Do have a couple, just a couple questions that we've talked about. Just want to make sure we get it on the record, right? So, because one of the concerns for anybody in Forest Hills really is stormwater runoff, right? And so to help eliminate the impact of any future stormwater runoff, we could just talk about what we've agreed to, right? Which is a little bit above and beyond. And we really appreciate you guys doing this, which is to tie the downspouts of the 3 homes on the right and the south on the lower side into a main header, right, and discharge that into the detention facility.
Right. So we've normally in any development that goes in front of you guys now all has to comply with the stormwater ordinance. So in general, the detention pond that we have today is sized for the entire development as we've designed it. And the variance asking for 55% over 50, just so you know, what you've seen on that plan today, most of those are under 50%. What we're doing is we're taking what I've learned being in front of the city, which I've been in front of you many times for individual lots, where somebody wants to come back and add a patio or a pool and they have to get a variance. So we're recognizing that on the front end, saying, look, these are pretty small lots compared to normal, and the houses are still fairly big. So if somebody wants to do a patio that's a little bigger than normal, or they want to put a small pool in, they're going to have to be back in front of us. So instead of dealing with that later, let's put a little comfort zone in there. So let's ask for 55%. When really most of them are going to be well under that. So just want you to know that up front. The truth is most of them are going to be under the 50%, but there might be 1 or 2 people who come back and add something later on. But what we've agreed to do that's not, you can't see it at this level because we haven't submitted LDP plans, these are just zoning plans, is that we're going to capture all that surface water either at the street and have it go into the detention pond, or as Tim has requested, we're going to do a swale along the back lots on the eastern side of the property to ensure any surface flow that misses the roof drains, the downspouts, also goes into the swale and is then directed south along the property line and into the detention pond directly. And then we will agree, I believe we're comfortable agreeing to stipulate that we would tie in all of our downspouts as necessary. And so we can directly pipe the downspouts. And that's a significant cost to the developer. So those are the things we've agreed to do extra.
Right, so tie those 3 homes together and directly pipe that into the detention facility.
Yeah.
And then, and if you could work with staff to somehow memorialize that, right? So I'm not sure if an easement's the right thing, or Joey and Rusty, you guys can tell them what the right thing to do is.
Yeah, I think if we stipulate just a general requirement that the downspouts be tied in, some kind of language to that effect, with the ability to daylight some at the street and then tie the ones in the rear to a trunk line. And we can craft that together.
Yeah, thanks, Joey. Yep. Okay. Other than that, really appreciate it. I know you all. The sidewalk's a great thing. That's a great improvement for the area. The house is facing the street. I think it is a nice addition, and it's a good buffer between the existing medium density residential and the rest of King Springs as you go north. Because on the north side, most folks don't know there's a school there, right, on the north side of your property. So.
And we've talked to them. They're super excited because they're on septic, so they're tying into that sewer there. So they're super excited as well.
Right. Yeah. Good.
We've got Daryl here if you have any questions.
I mean, good evening, board. I mean, Sean has pretty much said it all. I mean, we've evaluated the stormwater like you mentioned. We know that there's a true ridge to our northwest. We're draining to the southeast corner there where the detention pond is. We're capturing all of the bypass from the roof drainage that's coming from the home. So, I mean, he's pretty much identified it, and with him putting something in writing, I think we should all be good. But we have evaluated, we know that the pond works, and we should be able to slow down the flow or manage it where it's less than what it was before.
Good. Thank you.
Paul, do you have it?
Good.
Any other questions, comments for the applicant? Thank you all.
All right, thank you.
This is a public hearing. We'll open that up now. Anybody that wishes to speak for or against this item, come forward and be sworn in by our city attorney. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing, and I'll turn it over to Mayor Pro Tem Gould.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve item 7B, Z24-015, as previously read.
Second.
Have a motion seconded by Ms. Hines. All those in favor, please vote. Mr. Lindley, how do you vote?
Vote in the affirmative.
And that's approved 7-0. Thank you. Thanks for doing this in Smyrna. What, Sean, you're not going to stay? Sean doesn't need to catch up on his sleep. He's good. All right, item C, ordinance 2024-001. This is a public hearing allowing code amendment to section 713 of the zoning ordinance to allow an animal crematory as a permitted use, the OD Office Distribution Zoning District. Mr. Bennett, any background?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Community Development is proposing a code amendment to the zoning ordinance to allow animal cremation as a permitted use within the Office Distribution Zoning District. The heavy industrial zoning district allows human and animal crematories, but no other zoning district allows animal cremation as a singular use. Community Development recommends approval.
Do we have an applicant here?
This is city initiated.
City initiated, okay, great, thank you. This is a public hearing. Anybody for or against this item want to come up and be sworn in? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Any comment or questions from council? All right, may I have a motion? Move to approve by Mr. Pickens. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Gould. All those in favor, please vote. Mr. Lindley, your vote, please.
In the affirmative.
Thank you. And we're approved 7-0. Thank you. Item 8, we don't have any privileged license or show cause hearings this evening. We'll move on to formal business. Item A, Resolution 2025-001. This is approval of that resolution for the 2025 meeting dates to include Committee of the Whole, Pre-Council, and Mayor and Council as publicly posted in the Marietta Daily Journal and approved on October 7th, 2024. Any background, Mr. Bennett?
No, sir, other than this item is the official resolution for the approval of all meeting dates for the calendar year 2025.
And the dates change a little bit next year. We go back to the first and third Mondays and Thursdays, and we're moving our Committee of the Whole to 6 p.m. versus 6:30. Any discussion amongst council? May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Mr. Welch, second by Mr. Pickens. All those in favor, please vote. Mr. Lindley.
Yes.
That's approved 7-0. The next three, items B, C, and D, are not redoing our 911 charges. First one, B, approval of resolution 2025-002, imposing a 911 charge on postpaid wireline, wireless, and voice over internet protocol telephone service at the answering point at a rate of $1.50 per month received by a municipality, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. I know, Mr. Bennett, we do this every year. Is there anything that you want to add as far as background?
Correct. So the only addition I would have is the City of Smyrna operates a 911 public safety answering point, and these are required resolutions.
We're one of the few municipalities that do that.
That is correct.
Any discussion or questions from council? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Got a motion to approve by Mr. Oglesby,
Second.
second by Mr. Pickens. Beat you to it. All those in favor, please vote. Mr. Lindley.
yes.
Okay. That's approved 7-0. We'll move on to item C, it's approval of resolution imposing a 911 charge on prepaid wireless service at the retail point of sale at the rate of $1.50 per retail transaction and revenues received by a municipality, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Any comments or questions from council? I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Pickens beats you again. Motion to approve, second by
Second, Tim.
Mr. Gould. All those in favor, please vote. Mr. Lindley.
Vote yes.
And that's approved 7-0. Item D, approval of resolution 2025-04, reaffirms the necessity for the $1.50 911 charge on telephone subscribers served by the enhanced 911 system for the fiscal year. Anything else on that, Mr. Bennett?
No, sir, other than
Okay.
we do operate an enhanced 911 system.
May I have a motion to approve? So moved by Mr. Welch. Second by Mr. Pickens. All those in favor, please vote. Mr. Lindley.
I vote in the affirmative.
And that's approved 7-0. Item E, approval of the appointment of Ward 2 resident Rose Diggs to the Smyrna Tree Board. This is a 4-year term to expire August 31st, 2028. And I'll provide a little background here. That's our Citizen of the Year for 2024. Ms. Diggs was awarded that a couple of weeks ago and has just done so much for this community and fostered hundreds and hundreds of kids, and just a gem of a human. So, Ms. Hines, anything you want to add?
No,
Well,
Mayor.
great
you-
appointment.
You beat me to it.
Sorry,
but yes,
sorry, I'm
yes,
just a
yes,
huge
yes.
fan
no, I'm
of
very
Ms. Diggs.
excited. She wants to be involved, and I'm very excited to have her be involved in this way. So I would make the motion to approve.
Got a motion to
the
approve?
appointment.
Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Pickens. All those in favor, please vote. Mr. Lindley.
I vote yes.
Aren't you glad you're gone for the longest meeting of the year?
Yes, this has been special. Doing the people's business, though.
That's approved 7-0. Thank you. Item F, authorization for the purchase of 250 Kruger International Strive armless banquet chairs from Advantage Office Solutions, 65 Leggett Drive, Villa Rica, Georgia 30180, and the total amount of $58,500 to be paid from ARPA funds and using state contract number 99999-SPD-G202-40201-001, Omnia number R22-1003, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Mr. Bennett, I know the background. This is to replace those uncomfortable chairs at the community center and some others, right?
That is correct, sir.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Any questions or comments from council? May I have a motion to approve item F?
The motion.
All right, Ms. Hines, a second? Anybody? Second by Mr. Pickens, who's seconding everything this evening. All those in favor, please vote. Mr. Lindley.
I vote yes.
That's approved 7-0. For a long agenda, we're working through it pretty well, y'all. Item G, authorization for renovation of Creekwood Park, renovation by Compton at the total cost of $140,085.82. Compton, it's 605 West Howard Lane, Suite 101, Austin, Texas, 78753, in the amount of $140,085.52 to be paid using Omnia Partners Cooperative Contract number 2017001135, and paid from allocated ARPA funds, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Mr. Bennett, the background, please.
Yes, sir. This is for the equipment, surfacing, installation, and freight for the new playground at Creekwood.
This is in Mr. Gould's district. Anything you want to say?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No, I just appreciate staff's work on this and quite a bit of input from some local residents, and it'll be a nice addition to a nice improvement to the Creekwood Park area.
Any additional comments? Mr. Gould.
I'd like to approve item 9G, ATH 2024-195 as previously read.
Have a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Pickens. All those in favor, please vote. Mr. Lindley.
I vote yes.
That's approved 7-0. Item H, RFP 25-016, authorization to award RFP 25-016 for renovation of Creekwood Park to Langniap Development Company, Inc., 1190 West Shadburn Avenue, Beaufort, Georgia 30518, at a total cost of $349,730.36 to be paid from allocated ARPA funds, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Any additional background, Mr. Bennett?
Yes, sir, I do have some. The City of Smyrna requested proposals for the Creekwood Park renovation. The project includes the removal of outdated play structures, select trees, and other existing site elements to make way for the construction of a timber-framed pavilion, a modern playground, an expansive activity lawn, and additional site improvements. This project is funded from the American Rescue Plan Act. This project is managed by Foley Design. 7 proposals were received on Monday, December 2nd, 2024. The recommended firm is Langniap Development Company, Incorporated, again in the amount of $349,730.36.
Mr. Gould, this is in your ward. Anything to add?
No, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just again, it's a continuation of the previous item, and yeah, fortunate to have some ARPA funds available to use and put it to a long-term use for our city residents. So with that, move to approve item 9H, RFP 25-016 as previously read.
Have a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Pickens. All those in favor, please vote. Mr. Lindley.
Vote yes.
Approved 7-0. Move to item I, HEH 2024-201, approval to renew Georgia Firefighters Cancer Benefit Program with GMA Gurma for an annual premium of $7,526, and authorize the mayor to execute any related documents. Mr. Bennett, any background, please?
Yes, sir. As of January 1st, 2018, all legally organized fire departments in Georgia are required by House Bill 146 to provide certain cancer benefits to their firefighters. This program provides financial protection to firefighters and their families in the event they contract cancer attributed to their job. The program provides a lump sum cancer benefit as well as long-term disability coverage. The city needs only to obtain coverage for the lump sum portion of the program, as the city already provides long-term disability coverage for its employees.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Any questions or comments from council?
Nope, but I'll make a motion.
We have a motion from Ms. Hines to approve. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Welch. All those in favor, please vote. Mr. Lindley.
I vote yes.
And that's approved 7-0. Thank you. J, authorization 2024-202, authorization to award Georgia First Responder PTSD program as required by HB 451 in 2024 to GMA Gurma with an annual premium of $28,101, and authorize the mayor to execute any related documents. Mr. Bennett, any background, please?
Yes, sir. Georgia House Bill 451 mandates all public entities that have employed or volunteer first responders to provide lump sum and income replacement PTSD benefits effective January 1st, 2025. There are 2 coverage components required by House Bill 451 that become effective January 1st, 2025. One is a lifetime critical illness lump sum PTSD diagnosis benefit, and the other is a lifetime long-term PTSD disability benefit, which is income replacement. The Ashley Wilson Act, House Bill 451, requires several specific coverage features for the disability portion of the PTSD benefits. Our existing group long-term disability policy does not meet the disability benefit requirements of the Act. Therefore, staff recommends authorization to award this program to Gurma.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Any questions or comment from council members?
But I'll make a motion.
I have a motion to approve from Ms. Hines. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Mr. Gould. All those in favor, please vote. Mr. Lindley.
I vote yes.
That's approved 7-0. Item K, authorization 2024-205, authorization to renew the city's workers' compensation insurance program with National Liability and Fire Insurance Company with a $668,110 premium and $2,500 deductible with Oak Bridge Insurance, John Knopp as the broker, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Mr. Bennett, the background, please.
Yes, sir. Our workers' compensation insurance program renews on January 1st, 2025. As of January 1st, 2024, the city's workers' compensation coverage was placed with National Liability and Fire Insurance Company, with Oak Bridge Insurance, John Knopp, as the broker. Our workers' compensation program consists of $668,110 annual premium. That's with $2,500 deductibles. Staff recommends continue with Oak Bridge's proactive services to improve safety and risk management culture, and continue the 2 to 3 year plan to reduce claims and lower first dollar low deductible premiums.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Any discussion or questions from council members? All right, seeing none, may I have a motion to approve? So moved by Mr. Pickens. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Welch. All those in favor, please vote. Mr. Lindley.
Yes.
It's approved 7-0. Thank you. Item L, authorization 2024-204 to amend the fiscal year 2025 adopted budgets for the general fund and the American Rescue Plan ARPA fund to increase the adopted general fund budget, to increase the HB 489 intergovernmental revenue, and to amend the ARPA fund adopted project-linked budgets to reallocate funding and create additional projects. Mr. Bennett, the background, please.
Yes, sir. The city has completed several ARPA projects and needs to true up the project-linked budgets and obligate remaining funds before the 12/31/2024 deadline. Staff recommends authorization to amend.
And this is not unlike what we do pretty much every year to true up the budget.
That's correct, sir.
Any questions or comments, discussion from council? All right, I'll entertain a motion. Move to approve by Mr. Gould. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Oglesby. All those in favor, please vote. Mr. Lindley, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Okay. That's approved 7-0. We're almost through this, Mr. Lindley, almost. Item M, authorization 2024-206 for the approval of the fiscal year 2025 pay scale adjustments, cost of living, COLA pay adjustments, and staff merit increases effective the January 9th, 2025 payroll, pay period December 23rd, 2024 through January 5th, 2025, and authorization to amend the adopted fiscal year 2025 budgets in the general fund, water sewer fund, E911 fund, and the hotel motel tax fund to decrease the budget for the contingency line item in each fund and to increase the full-time salaries, part-time salaries, and FICA line item balances in each fund. Mr. Bennett, any background, please? And this is how we take care of our employees. This is
Yes,
doing
sir.
the right thing for the people who take care of us and our constituents.
Yes, sir, I do have a background. Each year, cost of living pay adjustments and merit increases for eligible staff are included in the budget in the contingency line item of each fund. As part of the maintenance plan recommended in the adopted 2022 classification and compensation study, council committed to annual adjustments to the pay bands and cost of living pay adjustments based on the employment cost index. According to the 10/31/24 Economic News release, compensation for state and local government workers increased 4.7% for the 12-month period ending 9/30/24. The fiscal year 2025 budget was adopted with a cap on the COLA adjustment at 3%. The amounts budgeted for ECI adjustments totaled $581,800. Merit raises were also included in the budget contingency line items in each of the individual funds. Initial amounts budgeted totaled $448,100. The estimated total for a 3% COLA and merit raises at 2.5% and 3.5% totals $804,196.23 at January 1st, 2025. Staff recommends approval of the FY 2025 pay scale adjustments.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Any discussion or comments from council members? All right, I'll entertain a motion, please. Motion to approve by Mr. Welch. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Gould. All those in favor, please vote. Mr. Lindley.
I vote yes.
And that's approved 7-0. Thanks, y'all. That's taking care of our people. Item N, AGR 2024-056, approve an amendment extending the term of the concession agreement with Gonna Fly Now LLC until January 31st, 2056, and authorize the mayor to execute all related documents. Mr. Bennett, the background, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The City of Smyrna has a concession agreement with Gonna Fly Now LLC covering the operation of the Fox Creek Golf Course on Windy Hill Road. And Cobb County has a similar agreement with Gonna Fly Now LLC covering the operation of the abutting Legacy Golf Course. The operator of both courses has planned upgrades designed to improve the courses. The upgrades to Fox Creek are estimated to cost more than $500,000. Gonna Fly Now LLC seeks to extend the agreements given the cost of these improvements. Cobb County recently amended its concession agreement regarding Legacy so that it terminates on January 31st, 2056, unless earlier terminated as provided in the agreement. Smyrna seeks to amend its concession agreement so that it has the same duration. Staff recommends approval.
They've been really good partners for lots of years. Any discussion, comments, questions from council? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Move to approve by Mr. Gould, second by Mr. Pickens. All those in favor, please vote. Mr. Lindley.
I vote yes.
Ms. Hines, how do you vote? Ms. Hines aggressively votes yes. And that's approved 7-0. Item O, approval to award the traffic signal intersection camera replacements and upgrades to Net Planner, 3145 Northwoods Parkway, Suite 800, Peachtree Corners, Georgia, 30071, in the amount of $78,345.35 on Georgia State Contract 99999-SPD 0000172-012 and PC Solutions, 4937 Southwest 75th Avenue, Miami, Florida, 33155, in the amount of $19,592.30 on Georgia State Contract 99999-SPD 0000219-0004 for a total of $97,938.65 to be paid with funds from the American Rescue Plan Act, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Mr. Bennett, the background, please.
Yes, sir. This is simply the replacement, upgrading of traffic signal intersection cameras at various intersections throughout the city. The new cameras will aid the public works and public safety departments in the city in their daily operations, and Net Planner is on state contract for this equipment.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Any questions or discussion amongst council? I will entertain a motion. Move to approve by Mr. Pickens.
Second.
Second by Mr. Gould. All those in favor, please vote. Mr. Lindley.
I vote yes.
One more before the consent agenda. And that's approved 7-0. Item P, Resolution 2024-013, approval of Resolution 2024-14, authorizing participation on amicus brief in the Chang v. City of Milton appeal, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Mr. Bennett, the background, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There is presently pending before the Court of Appeals and/or Supreme Court of Georgia an appeal of a civil lawsuit that, at the trial court level, was referred to as Chang et al. Versus City of Milton, State Court of Fulton County, case number 18 EV 004442. The case involves a claim of liability against the City of Milton for personal injuries due to a 2016 vehicle collision with a fixed obstruction, a masonry planter, located on city-owned right-of-way where the obstruction was outside the motoring lanes of travel. The city believes the Court of Appeals decision is inconsistent with existing legal precedent and should be overturned, and the financial implications of the Court of Appeals decision could be devastating for Georgia municipalities. The city does hereby authorize participation in an amicus brief before the Georgia Supreme Court, asking that the Chang appellate ruling be taken by the Supreme Court and reversed.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Any discussion? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
So moved.
We'll give that one to Mr. Lindley. Move to approve by Mr. Lindley, seconded by Mr. Gould. All those in favor, please vote. Ms. Wilkinson. And that's approved 7-0. We've made it through the formal business. Mr. Bennett, take a deep breath and please read the consent agenda for council approval.
Yes, sir. Item A, MIN 2024-203, approval of the November 18th, 2024 pre-council minutes. Item B, MIN 2024-205, approval of the November 18th, 2024 mayor and council minutes. Item C, BCA 2024-031, approval of the reappointment of the Downtown Development Authority members as follows: Heather Bacon, Ron Davis, Kevin Draw, Jim Dulmer, Tarun Gunnerall, Kimberly Gangimi, and Jason Saliba, with Mayor Derek Norton serving as chairman. This is a one-year term that will expire December 31st, 2025. Item D, BCA 2024-033, approval of the reappointment of the Urban Design Commission members as follows: Heather Bacon, Ron Davis, Kevin Draw, Jim Dulmer, Taryn Gunnerwall, Kimberly Gangimi, Jason Saliba, Chuck Young, and Greg Teague, with Mayor Derek Norton serving as chairman. This is a one-year term that will expire December 31st, 2025. Item E, BCA 2024-035, approval of the reappointment of Ward 1 resident Sean Garcia to the Keep Smyrna Beautiful Board. This is a two-year term to expire December 31st, 2026. Item F, BCA 2024-037, approval of the reappointment of the mayor's appointee, Mr. Joel Powell, to serve as chairman of the Smyrna Planning and Zoning Commission for a two-year term to expire December 31st, 2026. Item G, BCA 2024-039, approval of the reappointment of the mayor's appointee, Mr. J. Barrett Carter, to the Smyrna Parks and Recreation Commission for a two-year term to expire December 31st, 2026. Item H, BCA 2024-041, approval of the reappointment of Ward 6 resident Nell Robinson to the Keep Smyrna Beautiful Board. This is a two-year term to expire December 31st, 2026. Item I, approval of the reappointment of Ward 5 resident Maggie McGarity to the Keep Smyrna Beautiful Board. This is a two-year term to expire December 31st, 2026. And item J, ATH 2024-199, approval of the road closures for the installation of a crosswalk mural in front of City Hall on weekdays from December 10th through December 18th between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Any discussion on the consent agenda? If not, I'll take a motion. Move to approve by Mr. Pickens. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Oglesby. All those in favor, please vote. Mr. Lindley.
I vote yes.
And that's approved 7-0. Before we go to the citizen participation, I know that you're traveling, Mr. Lindley. I'm going to give you a chance, if you've got a ward report, to go ahead and do that now, and then we'll let you go. Anything you want to report on?
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. And thanks to Heather, Mr. Mayor, and everybody that made the connection this evening. I am right offshore of Antarctica. So it has been a long, very long journey, and it's sort of hard to believe I'm here and hard to believe I'm able to connect with folks at home. But I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday season and look forward to a great 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Lindley, and safe travels to you.
Thank you.
We'll now move to citizen participation portion of our meeting. We have two folks signed up for public comment this evening. The first is Alex Backery, 3459 Shawnee Trail. Comments? Mr. Backery, come on up.
My first comment tonight, can you hear? Hello? Is this statue on Fanny's cabin. I thought these statues were for international or national recognition situations, not for someone that just owned a restaurant. I don't know why she was acknowledged to have a statue made, but I just feel the money in the city could be used for better things, such as animal control. I don't know why this council hasn't looked at animal control. The city's grown, and it could certainly use one. I've had a lot of people say the response time is not good from Cobb, and I know how I ran around. So, but we've got to use our money more wisely, and I do not agree with that statue. Next, we're going to have to get Wage to have a statue because he's got a car dealership. I just don't understand why this has gone on like this. Number two, I'd love to see this council, someone on the council, say how they're going to open it up to get the people more involved in the voting. We need to have that happen. We've had Georgia Power now, 1.7 million. No feedback from the taxpayers. The taxpayers have a right to have a say in how their money's being spent. It's being denied. We had no say in the statue, as well as like Windy Hill, the others that I can think of, the Baptist Church. These are decisions why we're getting low turnouts in elections. And I'd like to see how somebody can come up. I suggested you put a flyer in the utility bill. A lot of people that have the computers just communicate and socialize between each other that don't look at city government. And I'm amazed how many people don't know, when I tell them something, anything about it. And I always believe knowledge is power. But I'd like to see this council come up with some ideas on how they can reach out to the people more to get involved in the decision-making, because it's not happening, and it's like another 20% turnout in the next one, ho-hum, and even no one on the council from the last one made comments like let down. I'm very let down at 20%, and the people I tell 20%. It's terrible. That's 80%. You've got 3 weeks prior. And it's really tough for the candidates, too, for the work they do. You can't show. I'll never forget the election 2 elections ago. 23 candidates ran. 20%. That's less than 1% per candidate. I hope you can all, in the new year, come up with some new ideas on the voting situation and some of these issues of spending our money. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Backery. The other person signed up is Frederick Paprin, 1873 Tallulah Trail.
Thank you. Appreciate the time here. I was originally coming to complain, but I have to say that I changed my mind to just come here and say thank you to your city clerk, Heather Korn, and to your city administrator, Joe Bennett, who took more of his time than I would have ever expected to address some of my concerns and a lack of understanding about why the taxes were the way they are. And so I'm really here to say thank you, Mr. Bennett, thank you, Ms. Korn, and to this other gentleman whose name I do not know. One of the things I had addressed in my frustration was the lack of communications that reaches us as voters. So I'm at Fontaine at Cooper Lake. We're just on the southwest tip of the city. And when I go around talking to any of my neighbors who've lived here longer than the year and 4 months that my wife and I, who are empty nesters and now with 3 dogs, are living there, no one has a clue. Nothing, zippo. And so the suggestion I would like to make in a positive spirit is to say, it would be great if you, as part of your comms overview, could come up with a budget to do a printed mailer at least once, if not twice a year, from the Mayor Norton and from the various members of the council to say, hey, this is what we did for you in 2024, this is what we didn't finish, and this is what we're going to do for you in 2025, and maybe a mid-year one. And I suggest the old-fashioned U.S. Postal Service because our lives are cluttered with, I don't know about you folks, but I got it from both Republican and Democrat. I think my phone was blowing up to 20 texts a day during this blessed last presidential cycle. It was insane. and I'd say unsubscribe or stop. It just didn't stop. So the point is that was text, and then you have email, then you have your business email. It's all too much. And so a simple printed piece of communication, preferably 4-color, but could be black and white, and just say, this is who we are, this is what we're doing, and this is what your taxpayer dollars are going for, would be appreciated. Because I tell you, I ask people who've lived for 7, 8 years at Fontaine, and nobody, not one of them, has a clue as to what we get. And my only other frustration, and I had addressed this to Mr. Bennett, who said he would take a look and talk to the city police commissioner, chief, was to say, I realize that we are fortunately a low crime spot. On the other hand, there's a certain advertising value to having the black and white Smyrna Police Department cars come through our neighborhood once every 2 weeks at an odd time during the middle of the day, so that those who are delivering all the packages and the door dashes and their friends who might be inclined to be porch pirates or whatever could get the idea that, hey, that's Smyrna. You sort of maybe want to go elsewhere because they're well covered by the police and you don't have a problem. So those are my comments. And thank you, Ms. Korn, and thank you, Mr. Bennett. I came originally to complain, but I didn't expect a conversation, and he was wonderful. Thank you. I won't be following up.
Thank you for the conversation.
No, thank you, and I will not be bothering you. Clearly, you have a lot more serious business to attend than addressing this cranky residents' complaints, but I came here to thank them.
Listen, we appreciate the positive feedback, and it goes to what we voted on earlier to take care of the people that take care of us. Our staff is one of the best in the business, right? And they take the time to address concerns, and as it comes down to the folks in your neighborhood, let me make this offer to you. I'd be happy to come out if you can get them together. I'd be happy to come out and spend an hour with them and just personally tell them what we're doing and how we're doing it. And
that's great. I'll take that up with Jessica.
Yeah.
Roth.
Just let me know.
Who's the HOA president.
I'm easily found on my cell phones out there and through
And
Christie.
most of the neighbors are, unlike myself, who's 64 and an empty nester at this point, are folks in their 40s with lots of kids. We love the fact that there are tons of little kids in our neighborhood, but they're also extremely busy, two-income families trying to run their lives. And but I will definitely make that a mention. And to Mr. Bennett's specific comment to me about ever getting the city administrator of my prior city. We moved here from New York, yes, as you can tell.
You don't sound like you're from Valdosta.
No. Well, after 45 and a half years in the New York City area, we landed, my wife was recruited by Georgia Pacific, and we moved down here, and we ended up in Sandy Springs. And there was a lot that was great about Sandy Springs. One of the things that we didn't like was it went from a city of about 90,000 in 06 when we moved here to about 120,000 now, with thousands of apartments. And I said this to Mr. Bennett, that it's been an eye-opener to see the pressures of development in this, near into the perimeter that has exploded everywhere. And I read, and I believe it, that I should only knock would be alive in 2050, but there'll be another 1,400,000 people in the 20-county area, which means that Smyrna, Sandy Springs, and all of the other ones that are close in, you're just going to get, it's like a tsunami coming here, and I see it. We picked Smyrna, just so you know, after we rented for a year in the unincorporated Paces High Park, right off between Spring Hill and Paces Ferry Road, right by Bella's Pizza, that development there. We're fortunate to be here, and we like the more low-key aspect of being in Smyrna, and the feeling that the city does really take care of it. And for all the complaints that I lodged with you, I needed to just compliment the city on a couple of things as compared to where I was. I'm not comparing it to northern Westchester County, which was a very snobby place that I used to live, but just compared to Sandy Springs. The fact that you have the dog parks that you have here, the fact that you have the Tolleson Park, the fact that you have a wonderful library, okay, and the community center with all the activities for seniors, which I've taken advantage of none of them. But the fact that you have it, I think, is an absolute wonderful thing, because the truth is, I was disgraced by the library in Sandy Springs. Sandy Springs is a very wealthy area, and my neighbors were much wealthier than I realized. We moved to a neighborhood, And we were, excuse the expression, we were the affirmative action when I found out how poor we were compared to my neighbors right by Riverwood High School. And this was multi-generational wealth. People were, and I go, aren't you embarrassed by the library? And the city would say, oh, that's Fulton County. Or the Benson Senior Center, oh, that's Fulton County. And I'm like, you can't be a top 10 city, whatever, and have a cultural center that is that disgraceful. And then I said, I didn't know, and then one day I found your library. I just walked through it, and I went back and said, how about giving us a library like they have in Smyrna? You know, and then I started to realize you have these other parks, these other things, and so we're very grateful for that.
We're glad to have you here and glad you appreciate our mid-sized city with a small-town feel.
Yeah, and the only other comment that's not critique, but a thought, it's curious to me, and this is something, maybe it's a Georgia thing, I really don't mean to be in any way derogatory, I don't fully understand.
You can leave on a high note, you know.
Yeah, we can end on a high note, and the high note is that you have great facilities, but why is it? So for example, I love the dog parks, but 90% of the people using the dog parks are not residents of the city. And I'm like, why are we paying for this for all these people that are not residents here? Like, I don't know. It's just something I didn't quite understand, and it's just the way it is. But we'll end on a high note, and Happy New Year to everybody. Merry
Happy New
Christmas.
Year to you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. We don't have anybody else signed up for public comment. We'll do our ward and staff reports. Mr. Lindley already did his. Mr. Pickens.
Thank you, Mayor. Since it's our last meeting of the year, I'd just like to wish everyone a good holiday season and looking forward to being back next year.
Ms. Hines.
Same, and I just want to thank once again all of our departments that helped with Home for the holidays. It was amazing. It was wonderful, and our Parks and Rec. No one does it better than the city of Smyrna, so I say that. And then shameless plug for 2 events for 2025. We've got our Black History Month program, which will be on February 28th, so look out for that. There'll be information about that. And I can say officially the Women's History program that we're going to do is going to be on March 23rd. So I'm excited about that as well. And so I wish everybody a wonderful holiday season. And for those people who, the holidays can be happy times and be sad times for people. So if we could be pretty kind and extend grace to those people who have lost loved ones and those people who may not have a traditional home this holiday season. So with that, I yield.
Thank you. Mr. Welch.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just will be very short. Wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and safe travels throughout the holidays.
Ms. Wilkinson.
Well, I wanted to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year as well. And with that, I yield.
Mr. Gould.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple quick things. First, the tree lighting was magnificent, and thanks to staff and all who helped make that happen. A really remarkable evening. I just want to get a comment about the Fannie Williams Memorial, and if for all who don't know, it's open for viewing. Stop by, take a look. It's really a remarkable achievement and honoring Fannie Williams, who's a community activist. She was a philanthropist and an entrepreneur, and somebody who's definitely worthwhile of our recognition for our city. And lastly, as a refugee from Mahopac, New York, which is in Putnam County, northern Westchester, after 20-some odd years, I could really come to appreciate, the changes and the differences here in Smyrna compared to other parts of the country where I've lived. It's a wonderful place, and hope you enjoy it yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Gould. Mr. Oglesby.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to officially announce that starting today, our second installment of public art project for the second crosswalk was to start, but the rain held it off, but we will get it going as soon as we dry up. So that means that Smyrna, before the end of the year, has 2 public art projects completed. That's what we're looking at. So I think that's awesome considering what has happened in the past. I also would like to wish everyone a happy holidays, and for those who have free time on their hand, find time to volunteer and check on your neighbors and your elderly residents and citizens here in Smyrna and make sure they're okay during these holiday season. I yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Oglesby, and thank you again for your leadership on the Arts Committee, and looking forward to that crosswalk that proudly displays jonquils here in our jonquil city. Mr. Cochran. Miss Heather. Miss Jill, anything? All right. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for a great year. We're looking forward to 2025 and all that's ahead of us. If there's no other business to be brought before this body, we are adjourned at 8:06. Thank you.